Hello folks, I have cold, as you can probably tell, and that seems like bad conditions under which to make a video, I know. The reason I'm doing this now is because, before I get to that, let's get to the lozenges, because that's important. I have these two kinds. These are the ones that taste good. These are the ones that work better. So I'm going to start with these. And I'm going to do my damnedest not to cough. So the reason I'm doing the video now is because I haven't made a video in a long time. I wanted to, but I haven't had time. And what I've been doing is collecting all the books that I've acquired this year and putting them in a giant stack. I got to the point where I had to put the books away. So I was cleaning today and I decided today's the day. I either make the video or it doesn't get made because I have to put these books where they belong. So here we go. And if listening to someone with congestion is not your thing, I totally get it. I promise to make another one when I don't sound like this. Alright, so I've just stacked them up in height order here. There's quite a few. They come from all different places. Some of them I stooped from the street. Some of them I purchased. Some of them were gifts. And I don't even remember what half of all these are. So let's see what we have. And they're in size order. This first one is really weird. If you know anything about this, please let me know. I found it on the street. You know, people put out boxes of books and stuff here. They probably do where you live too. And it says Mervyn Peake, an exhibition of certain rare dreams. It's a small book. I believe it was published by the Last Tuesday Society, which has been around since like the 1800s, but it also has something to do with this bar that houses this person's collection of stuff, which became a museum. It's a little bit confusing to me, but inside the book is the, oops, can't show that one. It's one giant picture of a phallus. But it's just an incredibly diverse assortment of things. Ethnography, art, essays. I'm a little baffled by it. I thought it was very cool. And I am looking forward to not only reading the contents, but also looking online to learn a little bit more about it. It says in here it was published, where was it? 2019, so in England. So any knowledge, please let me know. Where should I stack up my books? I guess I'll stack them up here. This is a pretty well-known nonfiction book by Adrienne Maree Brown called Emergent Strategy. And I started reading this. It's a book you want to kind of take your time and digest, so I'm reading it slowly. Definitely enjoying it. She's awesome. If you haven't read any of her stuff, I highly recommend her. She writes poetry, nonfiction. She's got wonderful online content as well. She's an educator. And yeah, I love learning from her. I just changed the angle a little bit because I think the camera's a little too close. This book is called The Buy Nothing, Get Everything Plan. It's by the people who founded Buy Nothing. And if you've seen some of my prior videos, you may know that I'm a big fan of Buy Nothing. And I don't think I have a huge amount to learn about a non-monetary economy, but I was curious about it. And also I really wanted to pass this on to other people in my community who are not as familiar. And it does have some suggestions at the back. What might be, a way to expand the ways in which I participate in this non-economic economy. The funny thing is, I had to buy this book. It was at a local store, and I don't know, it was like $5, and I would have rather have gotten it for free. But when I'm finished reading it, I can pass it to someone else who will get it for free. I have to say, these lozenges really taste like crap, but they do work. My throat's feeling a little better. This is a novel by Doris Lessing called The Fifth Child. Nothing really to say about this. I haven't read it yet. I'm looking forward to it. It's quite a slim one. I picked it up at a local bookstore that I should not go to because they have this rack of books outside for $5, and every time I go, I buy a book, and I already have too many books. But yeah. Let's see. In the unconstrained atmosphere of England in the late 1960s, Harriet and David Lovett, an upper-middle-class couple, face a frightening vicissitude. As the day's events take a dark and ugly turn during apocalyptic insanity, the Lovetts' guarded contentedness and view of the world as a benign place are forever shattered by the violent birth of their fifth child, Ben, monstrous in appearance, insatiably hungry, abnormally strong, demanding, brutal. And then the New York Times Book Review says, a horror story of maternity and the nightmare of social collapse, a moral fable of the genre that includes Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and George Orwell's 1984. I like both those books. I figured I would probably like this one too. Okay, this is called Not Too Late, Changing the Climate Story from Despair to Possibility. It's a collection of essays by Rebecca Solnit, Thelma Young. The person's name is Thelma Young Lutunatabua. I apologize if I mispronounced that. I had seen Rebecca Solnit in the Brooklyn Public Library doing a presentation about this book with a few of the authors. It was wonderful. I did not buy the book at that time, and then I had the opportunity to get this for free. So I totally took it, and I am looking forward to reading it because they do provide some rational cause for optimism about the climate crisis. There are very few rational reasons to be optimistic, but if we look to the lessons of activists who have had some success, we can keep that light shining as we try to change this apocalyptic death spiral that we're on. This book is called White Women, Everything You Already Know About Your Own Racism and How to Do Better. It's by Regina Jackson and Syra Rao. Again, I apologize, I'm probably mispronouncing. This was a book that they were distributing to anyone who asked for it, which was incredibly generous. And I accepted that offer. And again, very much looking forward to reading this. They're the founders of Race to Dinner, an organization that facilitates conversations between white women about white supremacy and racism. specifically our complicity in upholding white supremacy and our racism. We explore our obsession. Oh, I'm changing the your to our because I am a white woman, so I'm owning it, and they're not, so they're saying your. We explore our obsession with niceness and perfection, even as it relates to your anti-racism work, our anti-racism work. White Women is a call to action to those of you who are looking to take the next steps in dismantling white supremacy, our white supremacy. If we are in fact doing real anti-racism work, we will find few reasons to be nice. Leave your feelings at the door and have a seat at our table. So if you are a white woman, I definitely encourage you to check this out. Changing gears completely. This is a beautiful book and kit that came from the Metropolitan Museum of Art about African beads, and my friend offered this on Buy Nothing, and I asked her for it, and we split it. She took the beads and I took the book because that was a good split for us. So it's this gorgeously illustrated book about the history and tradition of African beads, with examples of traditional work. And then it also contains some information on how to do contemporary beadwork, as you can see. I do beadwork. I love learning about beads and bead culture. So this was a really nice ad for my collection. Okay, books are getting bigger. This is called Oak Flat, A Fight for Sacred Land in the American West. And it is a really interesting format book. Oh, sorry, the author is Lauren Redness. It's like a mix of text and art. Really amazing art. And it is, sorry, let me show you some of the illustrations. I'm sorry if I'm sniffling. I'm really trying not to, but I might be. I'm trying to figure out how to describe this book. It's true. It's like reporting, but it's put in this really interesting format of a graphic novel, and it has some interview content as well. And let's see if I can find a description anywhere. Well, okay. Oak Flat is a serene, high-elevation mesa that sits above the southeastern Arizona desert 15 miles west of the San Carlos Apache Indian Reservation. For the San Carlos tribe, Oak Flat is a holy place, an ancient burial ground and religious site, but after a massive untapped copper reserve was discovered nearby, a new law transferred the area to a private company whose planned copper mine will wipe Oak Flat off the map. Oak Flat tells the story of a fight that pits one of the poorest communities in the United States against the federal government and two of the world's largest mining conglomerates. So that's what that is about. Let's see. This is called More Than One Way. It's by someone, Zandra Struther. I know her, and that's why I am going to be reading this book. She's associated with my professional life. It is I believe it's autobiographical about her father. The thing at the back says Danforth Williams, a young black boy, saw his future in Guyana, British West Indies. A weekly journey to the, I'm not going to try to pronounce that, gold mine with the crew from his village. He rejected it. Little Will walked away from the mine into the path of Carl, an American of Dutch descent who hoped to rehabilitate a defunct sugarcane plantation and create a new life. It's a long description. I'm not going to read you the whole thing. Anyway, comes to the U.S., I think, and does well. Okay. Right. The next. Oh no, they're not in any particular order. Okay. This is a book called The Arts and Crafts Movement by Elizabeth Cumming and Wendy Kaplan. It is, pretty sure this is out of print. Yes, it is. I got it at a very famous bookstore called The Strand here in New York. I am particularly interested in the arts and craft movement, and so I got a few books about it from The Strand when I was there. This volume surveys the highly influential arts and crafts design movement, which embraced architecture, furniture, glass, ceramics, metalwork, textiles, and books in Britain, America, and Europe. Although the styles adopted by the movement were diverse, its leading architects, artists, and craft designers, including William Morris and Edwin Lutyens in Britain, Frank Lloyd Wright and Gustav Stickley in, they keep saying America, it's the United States, it's not America, Joseph Hoffman in Austria, and Ilil Saarinen in Finland, were united in promoting the moral superiority of honest design and natural materials in an industrial age. Definitely running out of room. This is a graphic work called My Body, Our Rights. Is this by Sabrina Jones? Sabrina Jones is one of the editors, I believe. It is a compilation. Oh, yeah, sorry, my mistake. This is an issue of World War III Illustrated, which is a long-running zine, I guess. I wish I knew how long it's been going, but at any rate, they focus each issue on a different theme. This one is a collection of comics and graphic art in defense of abortion rights and appropriate health care for all people. And yeah, Sabrina Jones is one of the editors, along with Paula Hewitt Amram, Rebecca Migdal, and the assistant editor was Seth Bachman. I went to the launch party for this issue, and I know some of the people involved. And Sabrina actually did a little illustration in the front, which is sweet. Oh. Okay, I need to cough. Excuse me. Okay, I apologize. I hope I got that out of my system. This is called Len, a Lawyer in History, a graphic biography of radical attorney Leonard Weinglass. It's by Seth Bachman, whose name you just heard, in association with World War III. This is a non-fiction graphic novel. I don't know why we call them graphic novels when they're non-fiction, but anyway. For half a century, criminal defense lawyer Leonard Weinglass defended a who's who of the 20th century left in some of America's most spectacular trials. The typical call I get is one that starts by saying, "You're the fifth attorney we've called," he once said. Then I get interested. Those calls came from the likes of the SDS, the Chicago 7, Daniel Ellsberg, Abby Hoffman, and Mumia Abu-Jamal, among many others. So I was not familiar with this person, though of course I was familiar with so many of his clients. So I bought this to learn more. I am obviously a fan of Seth Tobacco, and I have read some of his other works. This is published by AK Press, which is an anarchist publisher that has really wonderful work. I like to support them. Okay. Another graphic novel called Making Comics by Linda Barry. I love Linda Barry. I think she did something pop culture that people would know, but I can't remember what it is. Might have been. No, I don't remember actually. So let's see here. This was published in 2019. And I'm not sure how to describe this book. But yeah, it's classic Linda Barry, and it's sort of like a how to draw art instruction book, but it's not really. I've read quite a few of her books. I find her work very poignant. Okay, coming to the bottom of the pile, just a couple left. Oh, and that one, pretty sure I got that one on the street. You can get some great stuff on the street. Keep your eyes open. Okay, this one is called Justice on the Walls, a narrative of the Robert and Carolyn Goodman art collection, and it is art from, oh, you know what? It's not, it's about, I'm confused. I thought it was just the civil rights movement, but there is more in here than just art from that period. There's like Katha Kolowitz. So this is, I guess, just what it says, a narrative of their art collection, which is pretty varied. Like, here's a Toulouse-Lautrec. And then there definitely are works from the civil rights movement. They were the They are the parents of, I believe, Andrew Goodman, who was one of the 3 civil rights workers killed, the Cheney, Goodman, and Schwerner. And I mean, there were many civil rights workers killed, but the 3 of them became relatively well known, and his parents founded the Andrew Goodman Foundation, which does civil rights work. So that's who they are, and that's what this book is. I have not yet read it. Actually, I haven't read any of these, which is why they're still in this pile. If I read them, they got put away or given away. Okay. Oh, now the books are getting huge. Okay. This one is pretty beat up, but it's out of print, and I wanted it. It's called The Arts and Crafts Movement in America, 1876 to 1916, edited by Robert Judson Clark. And it's just, another overview of the movement. With, this one was published in 1973. Okay, this was a guide actually to an exhibition organized by some art museums. Looks like it was a traveling exhibit. And most of the illustrations are in black and white because it was published. They're all in black and white? Yep, they are. They're all in black and white, which was, typical of the time. But it's still a very valuable guide. And it's the next best thing to actually being able to go to see the exhibition. Sorry, it's upside down. It's a big awkward book. When this was published, the exhibit was in the 70s. This book was published 1972. Okay. Yeah, so this is over 50 years old. Let's see if I can pull up an illustration that will convey itself well in the video. It's a pretty cool chair. It's the furniture. These illustrations are amazing. Okay, and there's just one book left. It is so big. It's heavy too. This one I found on the street. I was so happy when I found it. Called The Art of Instruction. Vintage educational charts from the 19th and 20th centuries. So these are absolutely beautifully illustrated educational charts. That's what we did before we had the internet. So these are botany, obviously. This book is in perfect condition. It was like a coffee table book, and then they put it straight from the coffee table into a box on the street. Now we're getting into some kind of biology. And now we're into zoology. Only half of the book is fitting into the frame. It's a giant book. Oh, sorry about that. That's the end of that. This book was published, let's see here. It's by Chronicle Books. It was published in the UK. I'm not sure when it was published. It looks pretty new. 2011. It's probably still available. So that's the last one. I know this was a long video. If you're still here, I'm very grateful. Thanks for watching, and if you're a subscriber, I'm amazed and grateful that you've stuck with me. I know I'm extremely irregular with respect to production, and that's likely not going to change, but it is fun to occasionally hop on and share things with you. So take care of yourselves. Don't get what I have right now. It's no fun. See you again. Bye bye.